Welcome to Teabaggers, the podcast where golf meets a whole new level of attitude. I'm Dale Smedley, co-founder of Golf Gods, and I'm here to bring you behind the scenes of the brand, the sport, and the people who make golf more than just a game.
That's right. If you're here for stuffy country club talk, you might be in the wrong place. I'm Sean Trevelyan, mostly referred to as Bear, the co-founder of Golf Gods. And if you love golf and don't take life too seriously, then grab a drink, kick back, and join us for some stories, laughs, and maybe a few hot takes.
In this podcast, we're digging into all things Golf Gods, from the crazy idea that started it all to the wins, the struggles, and everything in between. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
So whether you're a weekend warrior or just here for the banter, welcome to Teabaggers, where golf is life, but not too serious.
Let's tee it up. Welcome back to another episode of the Teabaggers podcast. It is back with Sean and I. It's the first time we haven't had a guest, so welcome, Sean.
Yeah, good to be back in the booth with you, mate.
Nah, beautiful. Today we're going to cover all things LIV Golf Adelaide, Full Swing, the new Netflix series. That's up to season 3. The PGA and the LIV merger seems to be a lot closer to getting done. Happy Gilmore 2 soon to be released, and we're going to cover a few more fun things as well. But to kick it off, one of the best weeks of our lives is LIV Golf Adelaide, being in our hometown. What were your thoughts?
Mate, it was third time this year, and bigger and better every year. It seems to just continue to grow, and it's more and more exciting to be a part of it every year. So excellent event once again.
They got the marketing gods shining on them there with the hole-in-one in the second group coming through. So we're about 10 minutes into the first round of play on Friday.
Yep.
And Patrick Reed's just one-hopped it straight in the cup, and the crowd's gone nuts.
Yeah, well, our phones obviously blew up about it, and everyone was expecting we would have been on the party hole to witness it. And of course, we were over on hole 2 watching Cam Smith and heard the roar.
Yeah.
So weren't there to see it live, but yeah, like you say, the marketing gods are all over it. It was a perfect little start for the event for them.
Yeah, we were always a bit disappointed though seeing it go off, because the chances of it going off twice on the over the 3 days is pretty unlikely.
Yep.
But anyway, it was good. It got it done. As I said, you'll be seeing that all over the LIV marketing for the next sort of 12 to 18 months, unless someone does it again next year. The crowds. I want to talk about the crowds. It's by far the biggest LIV event, and obviously not on the same scale as a Waste Management Open just yet. But 102,000+ people there. What tell us about the crowds?
Well, as we witnessed, especially on the Friday with the big headliner of Dom Dollar, the crowds it was a young crowd.
It was.
There's a lot of females.
It was a lot of females.
Which we, were sort of arriving during the event itself rather than being there early like a lot of us were. So sort of when it teed off, we felt like, it doesn't feel like there's stacks of people here, but the crowd built and built and built toward the concert. And I think having a big headliner play like that, it opens up a massive new market for golf people, because everyone that went there knew they were going to a golf event, even if they were going to see Dom Dollar.
Yep.
And it exposes them to the fact, golf's fun. Golf can be exciting. Golf doesn't have to be still the traditional thoughts, which a lot of young people probably would have if they're not exposed to golf.
Yeah, especially the female golfers. And as you said, it was not a typical golf crowd. You've got a lot of young girls rolling up in sort of festival attire and thing, which is
high
great.
Heels, which gives us a giggle thinking about walking
around a golf course in high heels. One of the biggest tips of walking a golf course and a golf event is make sure you've got the most comfortable shoes you can possibly have.
Yep.
And there was definitely some girls there rolling the boots and the high heels and that, and we were just looking at them going, fucking hell, what the hell are you thinking?
They don't know what they're in for.
But anyway, so Dom Dollar, absolute probably worth his money because of the amount of people it brought in.
Yep.
Do you want to have a guess of how much it would have cost LIV to get Dom Dollar there?
Oh, $500,000.
Well, I don't actually know.
No?
I'm just
maybe more. I'm not sure.
I was guessing about $500,000.
Yeah.
Someone did say something at one of his other events was $750,000 Australian dollars.
Yep.
So anywhere between $500,000 and $750,000 is our guess. We have absolutely no idea. It's literally a guess and what our thoughts are, but in terms of the crowd, and we'll run some footage over from the Friday event of how big those crowds actually were. I've never seen it at a golf event. I've been to 4 or 5 Waste Management Opens, and yes, they are large and all of that, but one big group on a golf course listening to a concert, I haven't seen anything that size before.
Yeah, and epic effort by Dom Dollar to create his own stage, the big golf ball.
Golf ball. When after the day, I wasn't as big a fan. I don't know if it really hit. It was cool, but I've seen some much epic stages at concerts and things like that. So, but anyway, it was pretty cool. He got the job done and played some ripping tunes and that was a really good night.
Yeah.
That was the Friday night. I want to go back a step. Firstly, we had the welcome party on Wednesday night.
Yep.
Good party. Not quite as big as the previous years. I was estimating probably a third of the crowd that was normally at those parties.
Yep.
What was your thoughts, if you can remember it?
Not a lot of it. It was a hot day. It was a 45-degree Celsius day, so it was a really hot day. We had a couple of beers before we went in, and then had a number of sparklings, and I remember feeling like I had a lot of fun. But it
was definitely fun. I definitely had a lot of fun. I got so drunk that I couldn't remember actually getting home.
Yep.
I woke up without my alarm late and completely forgot I was playing in the Pro-Am that morning. And my wife's like, "You're playing in the Pro-Am?" And I looked at my clock. I had an hour. My house is 52 minutes from the course.
You left home with her keys and had to double back?
Yeah, so that was the other thing. I actually left home with her keys and she couldn't take the kids to school, so I doubled back. Obviously got there about 7 minutes, or got to the car park about 7 minutes before my tee time.
Yep.
I think by the time I actually got to the tee block, because I was on the 10th, not the first, I had 3 minutes to spare. So quite the rush of getting in there. I always was watching the time. I thought, I'm going to get there bang on the time. So I wasn't too stressed, but ended up taking the win on that day.
You did, and I mean, I was on the bag for you. I didn't offer too much support myself.
No, you gave me absolutely nothing to be honest.
But I did call it as soon as you were late. I did say to our videographer, Rowan, I said, "Mate, Dale will be on today. He's going to roll straight up to the tee block and pipe him," and you literally did from the first tee. So
absolutely. I've never hit my drive better. I've never made as many putts as I had.
Yep.
So, absolute classic day.
There's plenty of content from that effort that's going to be coming out as well. And, get to see our shenanigans
soon to be released. What a team we had. We had Golf Slump, a little YouTuber.
Yep.
He scratch golfer, played really well. And then one of the shining lights of our team was actually Jack Leonard. Now, Jack Leonard's a local Adelaide boy.
Yep.
16 years old, playing off +2.
Yep.
And I've known this kid known of him for maybe 5 or 6 years, and he's starting to shoot up. So he was a very small kid growing up.
Yep.
But he's now starting to get some muscle, a little bit of growth. So it's going to be looking forward to seeing where he can take his golf over the next few years.
He gave the ball a rip, didn't he? He absolutely sent it. And shout out to Slumpy's caddy, CK Golf, who gave you all the tips for the day.
Yeah.
Kind of caddied for both of you, basically.
He did caddy. You pushed the bag. He just gave me all the reads and the tips and definitely paid off on some of those eagle putts.
Absolutely.
So the other really great thing that came out of LIV Golf Adelaide was the announcement from Peter Malinauskas with the extension to 2031.
Yep.
That's going to be exciting for Adelaide because we've locked it in. The other states like Victoria and Queensland can't take it off us now.
Yep.
Well, for the time being. What's that going to mean for the state?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. I think they're talking about redeveloping North Adelaide, and they've apparently committed $50 million to that. It's going to be there's rumours of it being a 27-hole championship level course, still public access.
With some training facilities.
Big training facilities. And as we've talked about, the way LIV has really opened up a different demographic of golf, having a bit of a mecca where people can go and learn and play the LIV course, I think it's going to be massive for golf in this state and Australia. And it's exciting. The rumours were out probably Thursday that North Adelaide was a potential destination, and I was adamant it would never happen. And I told anyone that asked, I said Victoria will steal this event from us.
Yep.
Victoria's newspaper, the Herald Sun, ran a story Sunday morning that they'd put in a big bid. And what we'd been at the golf an hour when Malinauskas made the announcement.
He made the announcement on the.
We'll have to get him on the pod soon and discuss it with him.
Yeah, I think we can wrangle that. He would be a good guest to have. I want to ask you a question. Obviously, we know the Grange members. You've got some really good Grange members, but you've also got the old stuffy golfers that haven't changed. Now, there has been a lot of back and forth, whether Grange like it, the members love it or whatever. Who do you think's worse, the Grange members or the North Adelaide residents?
Oh, I would go the North Adelaide residents.
So I think
that's the biggest challenge is they're going to be the council there and their residents. They hate everything.
They do.
As we've seen with the Adelaide Oval redevelopment, the lights and all the issues they've ever had. I think they're going to be a challenge for Premier Malinauskas to deal with, but he's confident he can get them sorted out.
Yeah, he's the man, Peter the Achiever. He can get anything done. And then to top it all off, we had a Joaquin Neiman win.
Yes.
So we did have Joaquin on the podcast. So if you haven't listened to that episode, make sure you go and listen to that. We do have the other three Torquay GC players on there as well. They're going to be released a little bit later down the track.
Yep.
We predicted it.
You did. Well, you interviewed Joaquin yourself and
Yep.
you called it. You said taking out the treble, which was the Pro-Am,
Yep.
Torquay team, and then Joaquin to win.
Yep.
The team just missed out after leading, I think, for 2 rounds.
Yeah,
in the event, but obviously we got the Pro-Am and then...
the Fireballs overtook them, but I think Joaquin was first and Carlos was second.
Yes.
And I think there was Answer was second as well, I think, or maybe third.
Yep.
So they must have had their bottom 2 players up a little bit higher than the Torquay. So they didn't get the treble done. We did get the Torquay Pro-Am and the individual things.
Yep.
So... what a great effort by the boys.
Huge effort. It was good fun.
So, we're looking forward to next year at LIV Golf Adelaide. If any of our listeners are in the US, Canada or anything, make sure you come over for this event. Do not miss it. Yes, waste management is bigger and better and all that. We don't care. LIV Adelaide is the vibe. It's the people. It's the place to be.
The thing is, I mean, we've been to a number of waste managements, like you said, and it is so big now, it's hard to get there. You allow 2.5 hours to get in. You
can't get Ubers there. You got to get a bus.
It's a massive fun event, but it's so big. Whereas at least when you're getting 35,000 a day rather than the whatever 100,000 they get, access is a lot easier. It's still a massive vibe. It's pumping, and we wouldn't miss it for the world. And
you get to come to Australia and see the wildlife. The Australian summer is
the
now in February.
snakes.
The brown snakes. We did share that video. It's one of the biggest videos we had. So we'll run that over. That was a little brown snake. Well, not even little. It was a big brown snake, just waving its way through the crowd, and everyone was just
in the
doing
fan zone, heading to Ladbrokes to put on a multi, and everyone hassling him, filming him, dobbing him into the wife. So the poor fella's just trying to put a bet on, and
that's it. And they're one of the most venomous snakes in the world. So you get bit by them, you probably got about 20 minutes to get to the hospital for some anti-venom.
More of us were filming than running away, which I don't know if
typical
that's
Aussie
silly
thing,
or not. But
so that's basically our recap of LIV Golf Adelaide. What an epic event! Can't wait for 2026 and the following few years after that.
Absolutely.
One of the other things we've got launching in golf coming up, it's actually, we are recording this on the 25th of February, Australian time, 25th of February on the US time, so tomorrow, in about 24 hours time, Full Swing Golf next Netflix Season 3 is launched.
Yep.
Did you watch the first 2 seasons?
No. I watched a little bit of the first one. And that was all I watched of it, to be fair. I'm not. Did you watch it?
I think I watched the first one when it first came out, and then I watched the second one on a plane to US once.
Oh, yeah.
And got it covered.
I've read the recaps, and I sort of knew what they were talking about, but no, it hasn't quite captured my imagination.
Yeah, so from my understanding, this Season 3 covers, obviously, Scotty Scheffler's historic run, which is pretty historic. And
including his arrest, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I think he's going to actually talk about that arrest and what happened.
Yeah.
The evolution of Bryson going from, like, an anti-hero to a fan favourite, he's I think he might be one of the only LIV players that's covered. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I know he does take a big part on it. We've got Minwoo Lee and Minjee Lee, the brothers and sisters from Australia, making history in the golf team in the Olympics.
Yep.
The other one that I didn't realise is the friendship between Wyndham Clark and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that was news to me as well.
So I think they go in and cover a bit about their relationship, how they're going to take their Mark Wahlberg's golf brand to the next level. So that would be an interesting thing to come out of that. And then the other thing, which I actually didn't know about either, was Gary Woodland's return to the sport after battling a brain tumour.
Which is crazy. It's huge comeback. Again, I wasn't aware of the full details, so I think there's plenty of juice in this series to be able to catch up on what's been happening.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Gary Woodlands thing, from what I had a quick read before we jumped on the pod, is that about 12 months ago he was diagnosed with a brain tumour, didn't know whether he's ever going to play golf again, and then only I think at that Sendri tournament in Hawaii actually been able to come back and play. So that's an epic achievement for a terrible situation there for Gary Woodlands.
Yep.
And then I think some other players that are on the list and the thing, who else we got on the Netflix series?
There's Ludwig Aberg, who's just had a win, was it last week? So I've tipped him, had a few bets on him over the last year to win some events, and he hasn't quite got there, but he did get one last week. So he's a massive up-and-coming star.
He is
Keegan Bradley, Joel Damon.
Yep. I think he talks about not necessarily enjoying his golf too much, from my understanding in the series, and he sort of obviously really struggled to keep his tour card last year. I think he finished 125th for in those last few positions, and then was able to claim that tour card.
Well, he had that issue with the extra club in his bag.
That's
didn't he?
right.
He nearly lost
We've
his
spoken
card.
about that on the pod.
Yeah, Tony Finau, who's made his debut for the the LAGC
in their thing.
Team.
They subbed him in.
Yep. Ricky Fowler.
Yep.
Yeah, Minwoo Lee, of course,
Yep.
which is awesome. Let him cook, the Aussie up-and-coming superstar.
Yep.
Minjee as well, Shane Lowry, Rory, Justin Rose. So, heaps. Nick Taylor, Neil Shipley.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it covers all the 4 majors, and I think it's got a bit of the President's Cup in it this time.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that, something to Netflix and chill at home in a couple of days' time, and we'll be reporting back on that on the pod if there's anything interested to come out of it.
Yeah, definitely the series I want to get around for sure.
Yeah, very good. So there's been a big meeting in the White House.
Yes.
You've got Tiger Woods, Donald Trump. Are they the 2 most powerful people in golf?
Yes, absolutely. They
by
are.
a country mile
By
as
a
well.
mile, yep.
So apparently they've had a little bit of a meeting to try and get this LIV and PGA merger sorted out. It seems to be dragging on and not much news coming out of there. I reckon if anyone's going to get it done, it's Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think him getting into office, it just seemed like, he's firing away like a machine gun with executive orders and just sorting things out. And this is one thing that I think is on his agenda to go, let's just sort this out and move forward, because the sport's been a bit stagnant in terms of the tour and the players and the bands and the feuding. And as a fan, we don't want to see it. We want to see them back together, and we want to see LIV guys playing in good PGA events. It brings more interest to the PGA Tour events.
People can always say, there's a lot of talk, the best tours LIV, they've got the best players. PGA, at the end of the day, there's no tour that has the best players because they're split over 2 things. So to get them back in, there's nothing worse than a secondary PGA event, and you've got Johnny Nobodies that haven't won on the Corn Ferry and that right up the top. You don't even know half the names.
Yep.
And then you've got over on LIV, you've got Bryson, Koepka, Smith, all right at the top.
Yep.
So let's bring them all back together. They're not going to play every tournament. They're obviously, the LIV guys are going to do theirs and then fit in those other ones and get, I think the world ranking points is the one thing they need to sort out ASAP.
Definitely, yeah.
Because John Ram's down to 56.
And this is the thing, and then people, Golf Digest report on it as if it's like breaking news that he's dropped out of the top 50, and every person goes, well, the rankings aren't really valid anymore, so why are we even talking about that? Because it just doesn't matter because they're not including these guys. So it would be good to see a formula that is included for LIV players to be able to access points.
I think the big argument is it's only 3 rounds of golf instead of 4, which I can probably understand that.
It might be that the points have to be, reduced for a LIV event compared to a PGA Tour event. If you're playing 75% of the golf, you're only eligible for 75% of your max score, as an example.
Something like that. So obviously the Donald Trump Tiger Woods meeting, that included Jay Monahan.
Yes.
And actually the LIV Golf chairman, Yasser Al-Ramayan, or whatever his name is. And I think player director Adam Scott was there as well.
Yep.
So I think definitely Yasser, Adam Scott and Jay were there, and then Tiger's come in at the end, played a little bit of golf with Trumpy and said, let's just get the deal done. And it's reported to be somewhere in the means of $1.5 billion. So there's a lot of money involved.
Yep.
And that's probably why it's not getting done so quickly. But it looks like later on this year, the doors will open for LIV players to be playing majors.
Yeah, and there's a couple of exemptions that have already been included. There's already rumours that, and this could be just internet rumours, but even as soon as the Players' Championship, there might be exemptions for LIV players to come back. Obviously, there's past winners on the LIV Tour that aren't allowed to play it at the moment.
Yep.
And I think the Players' Championship, the 5th major as they call it, you want to see the best players playing
100%.
it, don't you? So,
I think the USGA has created a pathway for LIV players to compete in the majors.
Yep.
Starting with the US Open this year at Oakmont.
Yep.
I think it was been the top players in the top 10 of the standings on April 7th will be able to play in those majors. So that's at least a really good start. Looking forward to that because, 2025 needs the top players playing all the best tournaments.
We do, It's what we want to see for sure.
100%. So one of the things close to our heart is going to be coming coming to light this year, and there's been already a lot of stuff in social media already, but Happy Gilmore too.
Yes.
You pumped for that?
I am. Look, you know, like you say, close to our heart. I think our entire brand is modelled on that very first movie and the fun aspect of golf that Happy Gilmore exposed to the world, which didn't exist, you know, and probably post that movie was still kind of looked down upon by golf purists.
Yep.
But has since been adopted more and more. And I think a lot of remakes and that these days, they miss the mark.
They do.
But I'm pretty confident this one, I don't think they'll mess it up. I think it's going to be good. The first one was epic.
Yep.
And I'm pretty confident it's going to be a good movie.
Yeah, hopefully it will. But they've actually got some, I don't know what you call them, little guest appearances. We've got Rory McIlroy, I've heard, that's on there.
Yep.
The Gronk. Oh, no, Travis Kelce, not the Gronk. Travis Kelce.
Yep.
I don't know how he gets a gig, gets a gig there. Who else? We've got Scotty Scheffler, Brooks Koepka, Bryson, Justin Thomas, Will Zalatoris.
Yeah, you got AEW former world champion, MJF, will be making an appearance. And as a little bit of a wrestling fan myself, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of role he plays in the movie.
Yeah, so I don't think there's been any confirmation of when it's coming out.
Yep.
It is a Netflix documentary or movie.
Yep.
So it won't be, I'm guessing it won't be at the cinemas or anything like that. Just watch it at home whenever you want. But sometime in 2025, I'm assuming middle of the US summer.
Yeah, you'd imagine it'll probably could line up with the end of Full Swing or something like that. The Full Swing series might sort of just build toward that being the next thing for Netflix to keep tapping into the golf world. So it could be something aligned with that potentially.
Yeah, awesome. On this podcast, we like to talk about controversial little things. We like to get people's reactions. We like to hear the feedback from people. One of the videos I watched this morning was from Paige Renee, one of the most famous golfer girls on the internet. Yep. And she was talking about a controversial topic of which tees people should be playing from. Now, I think there's definitely the way it's sort of structured and the way it's been brought up, that the red tees are the women's tees and the blue tees are this tee and the black tees are the comp tees and whatever, is probably a bit far from the truth of what it actually needs to be. Yep. What's your thoughts on where you should be playing?
I think it should totally be based on ability.
Same.
I would remove sex completely. Yep. And it is based on handicap. I think we've played with girls better than us, and they get to stand 20 metres in front of us, and you're like, damn it, you hit straighter than me, probably as far as me. And like I'm not. The tees situation isn't that girls get an unfair advantage. It is simply that I think it is outdated. I think it was something that was probably set 100 years ago. Yep. That girls do this, boys do that. I think it should be ability based. I think it would help speed the game up. Yep. You got lower handicappers further back, higher handicappers get forward. Yep. Get on the way up the course.
Yeah, well, we're all trying to we all want to shoot birdies, don't we? Right. Like that's. Like, you know, and you're a 20 handicapper. Obviously, you're a bogey golfer at best. Yep. And you're playing off the blue tees because you're playing with a bloke that's a 3 handicapper, and that's where he plays. And we're all got a big dick slinging contest, so we've got to all go back to the thing. And you know, the 20 handicapper puts it 2 fairways over, has a 5 on a par 3, and you know, whatever. Yep. So I would like to definitely push that agenda that the tees should be based on ability. Yep. The red tee should somewhere be around that 20 handicap, 18 handicap mark. Yep. And obviously in America, for those Australians that haven't played in America, when you go to an American course, there's 5 or 6 tee blocks. In Australia, we're lucky to have 2. Yep. We're lucky to have a white tee block on a normal day and a red tee block, which people say is the women's tees. Yep. I think there's definitely more room for more different tee blocks there, and definitely make it on ability. So if I'm playing with a +5 handicapper, he's going back to the blacks.
Absolutely.
And if me and you are playing, we're going up to the yellows
we're
and the
up
reds.
Forward. Totally agree.
So let's petition for that in Australia and the US. That
time to get outdated situations out of here.
So the women's tees are gone. They're called the forward tees or the +20 handicapper tees.
Definitely in for that. Yeah.
So we're with you, Paige. Yeah. Good on you for bringing it up.
You're cool.
Definitely comment in what your thoughts are.
Absolutely.
Because we're going to get the golf nuffy
and
say.
Look, happy to hear other thoughts on that, because that's our take on it. Yep. It's Paige's as well. But yeah, if you've got some opinions, let them fly, and let's hear it, because always interested to hear what people's takes are on it. But I'm all for it.
One of the things that I didn't realise, but in doing my research, they're banning the green reading books. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
I didn't until I read the show notes before this, that you've dug that out of somewhere.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So apparently on the 1st of January this year at the Sendri Tournament of Champions, green reading books are gone.
Yep.
Now, as 18 handicap. I can't say I've ever used one, seen one, had the necessity to use it, but I can understand.
Well, we got it given them to us at Barn Bugle, that's right. Famous trip, and I didn't know what I was reading, to be honest, so I didn't have to use it, but yeah, I have seen one before.
And I can understand how it helps with players and caddies and all of that. Do you reckon it slows down play by them reading their books, going around and walking around the green?
Well, and this is a topic we'll get onto a bit later as well, but I don't know if it slows a pro down, because if they've got no book to read and they're just looking at slope, are they not going to just spend more time wandering around the green? And at least if there's a bit of a map, they can go, okay, it does slant this way, that way, and I can't see that with my naked eye. I would imagine it would give them a bit more intel. So if they're just completely doing away with it, I don't know that it will speed play up for them or make it easier. But it's one of those things that I guess time and statistics will tell us whether their putting improves or declines or not.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's going to be such a player favourite, to be honest. I reckon those guys would like the comfort of knowing the
I would imagine if I was that good,
Yep.
I would like to be able to look at a green book and go, okay, cool, this is how it's playing,
Yep.
and have some idea of what I'm in for as I approach the green, as opposed to just standing there going, it could be a hot day and you've had to hit 2 long shots and you're feeling a bit buggered. You get to the green and then you're trying to read it and you're like, oh, what's going on? The caddy's carrying his bloody bag trying to read it. I feel like you get a better read of the green being able to read the book, right?
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, whether it sticks around or whether they're just done with it. But no one's really kicked up a fuss. It only affects pro players. It doesn't affect the average punter.
Plenty of them have their say on topics, though. Yeah. The fact that neither of us had come across it shows that they haven't been complaining too much yet. So.
No, 100%. So let us know what you think. Is it a good thing that green reading books have been banned, or is it nonsense cool?
Yep.
Very good.
Tell us what you think.
Obviously, leading into the green sort of reading type of thing, we did see a funny little video of do you want to you explain it? You saw
King
it
on the LPGA Honda event in Thailand. It was the third round. I think she was less than a foot from the green, and she's used her aim point to get a read on her
1 foot putt.
Less than 1 foot. And the photo went viral. We've all posted it.
Yeah.
People are up in arms.
Do you know what the comment section was saying? What were the comments like?
There was a bit of both. People saying golf's completely lost the plot.
Yep.
Golf's just lost it. And then there were the people that were defending her. And I think for my take on it, she finished 6th overall in the end.
Okay,
she made
so
that
she was
putt.
competing.
And, there's a lot of money on the line, as we know with pros that are coming up that we know really well. One putt could be a big difference in income. It could be a big difference in earnings.
That's it. It might be position or what you're going to get into the next event. And it's not necessarily always about money, but it could one top 5 or one top 10.
It could be exemptions to something. It could be anything that
you don't realise
might get you. So I think from a pro point of view, they can do what they want. They've got a lot on the line. The problem that I think it festers down to is what we see playing. You're going at the Tuesday club pro shop comp that means nothing. You're playing for a sleeve of balls and you watch 4 blokes, generally older guys, that just take forever on a green, and it's like, guys, you're not playing on the pro tour. Get the fuck on with it. Just wrap it up. And I think for a pro, you do what you want. Like I said, she made the putt. It was the 3rd round, so finished 6th overall. It's a professional event for them, as much as it's kind of funny to look at and go, what's she thinking?
What the fuck are you thinking?
What are you thinking?
But that's the thing. For me, that's just get there, putt it, and get on with it. I just think at a pro level, you've been playing golf all your fucking life.
You're probably the good one that can do it, whereas we probably needed to take that time.
Get up and hit it. Like at 1 foot, come on, tap it in, eyes closed, through the legs, whatever. Get it done. But no, that was a very funny, funny video. So it's always good to see them. If you guys are really enjoying the Teabaggers podcast, make sure you jump onto all our listening platforms and give us a review. It's not only for Sean and I to look at and enjoy, but our team that put these together put a lot of time and effort, and they love reading the reviews just as much as we do. So jump on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, give us a review, like, share,
subscribe,
put it on your story. The more reviews we can get, the bigger the growth of this podcast will be, and we'll be able to bring more and more to you. So do us a favour and jump on and review the podcast.
Absolutely.
One of the things I wanted to talk about is, do you reckon caddies should get more credit and pay for what they do?
It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer. I mean, my first thought when we brought this up was there's a Steve Williams, Tiger Woods caddy back in the day, was New Zealand's highest paid sportsman one year when Tiger won probably 40 events for the year or something. So it was an outlier for a caddy. They definitely should get more credit, I think, because they're not just carrying a bag. They are genuinely helping. Non-stop advice, non-stop help. We see it firsthand when we play the Pro-Ams, how important caddies are to players. So definitely more credit. How the pay structure works, it's a difficult one because golf in general, if you're not winning the big events, you're scraping by as it is. So
and that's the big difference. You've got Scotty Scheffler at one thing winning 30 million in PGA prize money alone, and then you've got the blokes that are probably in the 50 to 100, probably barely making enough to cover the travel, the physio, the trainers, and all of those sort of things. So, it's one of those things. I was having a chat with Cameron Smith's caddy over the weekend, and old Sammy there, top bloke.
Legend.
But, and I didn't talk money, obviously, but the amount of effort he goes into, and he's there 2 hours before Cam's tee time every single event and every round. He's there, making sure everything's going in the right spot, so there's nothing different, making sure Cam's all ready to go. Obviously, that's just the minor things. Then it's like the in-game play of clubs and reading greens and distances and things like that. But I can guarantee, and probably a lot of the pros will say, it is a team between them. Like when you've got a good caddy, it really going to take your game to the next level. If you're sort of left on your own and it is a bloke just carrying your bag, then you're at it, a lot disadvantaged to the bloke that's got a really good caddy on the bag. But obviously in terms of the pay, the roundabout structure is 10%. I don't think it's exactly like that. I did do a quick little search on ChatGPT and it spit it out 10% for a win, 7% for a top 10 finish, and 5% for making the cut. So it's not too bad if you're making cuts every week. Just as what the number one player in the world is done in 2024, $29.2 million in PGA Tour prize money. So say 10%, just to round figures, Ted Scott's getting $2.9 million. And he's probably on a little bit more than that because he's probably one of the top caddies in the thing. Enough money for him or needs a bit more?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money in general, isn't it? Scotty's money, not he earns it, but it's a stack of money. So, but then obviously you get into what you're about to talk to with the extras that Scotty earns and a caddy
so
not
then we looked into the Scotty's extras. So in 2024, he won $108.1 million, $30 million in prize money, 25 at FedEx Cup. Comcast top 10 was $8 million. The PIP Player Impact program was $8 million. The Crypto.com Showdown was $5 million. Olympic gold medal was $37,500. What a waste of time that was. And endorsements a lazy 28 mil. So obviously the caddy's not getting his cut on every single one of those, but there's a fair chunk of it that he probably was there.
Yeah, if you look at, FedEx Cup, he probably does, I guess. The golf events, endorsements, they're not. And maybe some brands like us need to get around the caddies more and
absolutely. They're the unsung heroes,
unsung heroes for sure. I definitely think that they as I say, I think there's definitely more credit due to them. And as with with a few that we know, they've got interesting stories. And I listened to the series of Steve Williams talking about caddying for Tiger that was done maybe a year or two ago, and the insight and the effort. He'd walk the course on his own. He'd know every tree, every distance from every tree. He would know the course like
back to front.
Crazy. And Tiger's. I'm not saying Tiger couldn't have done it without him at all, but the effort he went into to provide Tiger with what he needed was huge. And they're just as important out there, really.
100%.
So,
you've got a bloke like Steve Williams doing that for Tiger, but then you've probably got your Australian Tour pro that's got his dad or uncle or brother on the bag that's rolled up from the pub the night before and whatever. So it is a very different playground when you've got someone in your back pocket going, this tree's 120 yards to the pin, it slopes to the front, you've got to carry it at the back and all this, compared to a bloke that's literally just carrying the bags. So, and that was one of the things. The average caddy, let me just get this up, is earning between $1,500 and $3,000 per week on the PGA Tour. And then they receive those percentages, as we said, they're roughly about 10% for the win. So all good for your top 50 players probably. Those blokes that are 50 to 100 and then Corn Ferry and all the lower divisions. obviously not getting paid very
Hard
much
work,
at
yeah.
all, and much the grind. So shout out to all the caddies.
Nah, love your work, guys. Definitely, especially after I did it for Dale at the Pro-Am.
Yeah, it's definitely not something I
hard
want to do. I did it one day for a pro and had to break too many bunkers and carry the bag. I was over it by half time. So one of the other things we wanted to talk about, which we did find quite funny the other day, was the Brian Campbell win in the Mexico Open.
How good! Like, obviously had it on here in the office in the morning, and it's gone to a playoff. And yeah, he shanked the drive. It was gone. It was two towns away.
This is a playoff to win his first event as well.
It was first event. It was heading 2 towns away. It's hit a tree. It's rebounded back on the course, and he's took out the playoff. So yeah, him and his caddy, they went and toasted the tree after the win, which was awesome.
I bet he knew how many yards that was from
he
the
would
pin.
have too. He would have known off the stick how far away that was going, and then it's hit the tree, and he would have said, "Bang, we're this far away straight off." So that was heartwarming to see. Got his card in 2017.
Okay.
Lost it that year. Has not succeeded on the Corn Ferry for the last 6 or 7 years. Won his card back last year, and what we're looking at, I think, in the last 8 starts, he's missed 6 cuts and a 50th or something.
54th or something.
And now
like
he's
that.
had a win on the PGA Tour. It's
got an exemption,
to
got
the
his card,
Masters.
got
He's
his
got his
Masters.
card for 3 years or something. Yeah, awesome to see. And
Is he an American guy?
he is American,
Yeah,
and the golf gods smiled on him with
Absolutely
that
they
ricochet
did.
off the tree. So really, really good to
Yeah,
see.
well, shout out to Brian Campbell. Well done, mate.
Good
I'd
job.
love
And he
to
follows us on Instagram, so love your work, mate. Good
Yeah,
man.
beautiful. Well, he definitely deserves that win, and it couldn't have happened in a better way.
Nah, not at all. And just another thing in some local news that I just saw before, Lucas Herbert's just got engaged. So one of our favourites on the Ripper team there.
I wonder if that's going to hold his golf back. You know how when you've got a normal partner and you start getting engaged and then you go have kids and all of a sudden your golf time is just consumed with partners and kids and all that. Do you reckon it's going to affect his time on the course?
Oh, well,
he's making that much money.
His Instagram post said that she's finally accepted the terms of the engagement. So I reckon part of that is I'm focusing on my golf. And,
I don't think she's going to mind with his paycheck that he's getting. So anyway, that's a wrap for the Teabaggers podcast. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Thanks very much.